From strange shadows, real-life exorcism, and figures that shouldn't be there. These are some of the most viral, disturbing things caught on film that leave us questioning everything we know. During a late-night walk, this guy came across an old house that looked completely abandoned. Any normal person would have taken one look and turned around. It already looked terrifying in the dark. But instead of leaving, he made the worst decision possible. He convinced himself that nothing bad would happen and stepped inside.
Jesus.
Inside, the place was a disaster. Everything was broken and scattered as if someone or something had torn through it. Still, he pushed forward, but just as he decided to go deeper into the house, he saw something that made his blood run cold. In that instant, he knew he had to get out. Everything happened so fast that you probably missed it. Whatever he saw inside that house was gone in the blink of an eye. But don't worry, we're about to slow it down for you. Take a closer look. Behind what looked like a broken door stood a doll, a little girl with sparkling eyes, staring directly at the front entrance. Or at least, that's what he told himself. Maybe it really was just a doll. Or maybe it wasn't. Many believe this was the ghost of a girl who once lived in the house, trapped there for reasons no one wants to understand. Whatever it was, it's better if it stays in that house forever, far away from us. If you work in an office building, you might want to start looking for another job. When the security workers from this building arrived in the morning, everything seemed perfectly normal, just another regular day. But when they checked the security footage from the night before, it told a very different story. Even though the building was completely empty at the time, the security footage showed an unexplained shadow moving across the floor. But that wasn't even the worst part. At one point, it looked like the shadow climbed up the wall, then onto the ceiling, before vanishing into thin air. The workers had no explanation for what they had just seen. While some believe the camera captured real paranormal activity, others insist there must be a logical explanation, calling it just a trick of the light. But honestly, I've never seen light create an effect like that on its own. And speaking of creepy security footage, you need to see what this man found on his parents' Ring doorbell camera. While visiting them, sometime around 3 a.m., he noticed something strange, a human figure walking toward the car in the driveway. At least, that's what he thought at first. But as the seconds passed, something felt off. The figure never came back. And when he took a closer look, it didn't even look human.
The thing runs for like another minute, and he never comes back. He never does anything else. Whoever this
never rings again.
Is that wearing a dress or something?
Again.
Like a wedding dress?
Wedding dress?
That is creepy how it's dark there.
Since he has a Ring doorbell camera at home, he knows exactly how it works. Every time he steps outside to take out the trash, the camera picks it up, once when he leaves, and again when he comes back. But this time, nothing happened. No motion alert, no second appearance, just silence. And that wasn't even the strangest part. His camera has always captured clear footage. Yet this figure, it was nothing but a blurry, distorted shape, barely visible, while everything else in the frame looked completely normal. How could anyone still believe this was just a person after all that? But if you thought those security camera clips were creepy, just wait until you see this. 4 friends were driving home late at night, just talking and laughing like any other night. But the moment they passed by a cemetery, their camera picked up something they never expected. Look closely at the middle of the screen. Did you see it? That light silhouette of a man right in the middle of the screen? What makes this even creepier is that none of these friends saw it at the time. They only noticed it later when they rewatched the video, and that's when the shock set in. But here's the strangest part. As they drove past the cemetery, all four of them suddenly felt uneasy, chills running down their spines for no apparent reason. They didn't understand why at the time. But now that they do, let's just hope that next time they take a different route, one that doesn't pass by the cemetery. Now, if you've ever seen even one horror movie in your life, you know that walking into a dark, flooded basement alone is a terrible idea. But this guy did it anyway, armed with nothing but a flashlight and his phone. He stepped forward, completely unaware of the nightmare waiting for him. The basement itself was unsettling. The water pooling on the floor wasn't the scariest thing down there. As he swept his flashlight across the room, illuminating every corner, something caught his eye. For just a moment, it looked like something was watching him from the far end of the basement. Maybe he didn't see it at the time, but I did. Call me crazy, but I'm sure of what I saw. The moment his flashlight swept across the basement, something at the far end moved. For a split second, a head snapped back, almost like whatever was lurking there didn't want to be seen. Somehow, it felt dark, sinister, like it didn't want him there, or worse, like it wanted to hurt him. George is a YouTuber who insisted that something strange was happening in his house. He claimed a ball in the hallway moving on its own. Of course, no one believed him. Everyone brushed it off as a trick, a draft, or just his imagination. But George was determined to prove them wrong. So, he set up his camera, hit record, and waited.
What's up, everybody? George here, by myself in the hallway. And the ball, not my ball, but the ball is moving by itself again. I gotta capture it for you guys, because nobody believes me. Go ahead and move. Oh my gosh, that was weird.
Just when people were ready to dismiss the whole thing as a stunt to get more views, something happened, something no one could explain. Maybe George wasn't making this up after all.
Please be nice. Dude, I got goosebumps so bad right now. You like the ball? What the heck? Oh, dude, it's pushing it down. Oh my god. What the hell? Dude, I want to run so bad right now, but I can't. I gotta film this.
If you're one of those people who think anyone could pull off a simple trick to make a ball move slightly, take a closer look at what happened next.
Are you pushing it to me? Dude, this is crazy, man. What? Okay, alright, okay, stop. Oh my god, man. I cannot believe this.
Maybe some of you think there's a string attached, pulling the ball across the floor. Others might say it's just a draft moving it. But then some believe something else is in George's house, something unseen. And honestly, they might be right. There's no visible string, and the ball isn't even near a door or window where the wind could push it. So what do you think? A simple trick or proof that something paranormal is at play? Let us know in the comments. And now, let's move on to the next disturbing footage. The last thing anyone wants after moving into a new house is to realize they might not be alone. But unfortunately, that's exactly what happened to this little kid. All he wanted was a peaceful night's sleep in his new home. At first, everything seemed perfectly normal, just another quiet evening. But the moment he went upstairs, something changed.
This is my mommy's room. This is downstairs. Oh my God.
At first, his parents didn't believe him. They thought he was just imagining things, maybe letting his nerves get the best of him. But then, they watched the video on his phone, and that changed everything. Clear as day, a massive shadow moved across the walls. It looked tall and broad, like a grown man, but no one else was there. People from all over the world have reported cases like this, cases of homes where the spirit of a previous owner refuses to leave. Some say these ghosts don't just haunt the house, they don't want anyone else living in it. Who knows? Maybe this is just one of those cases. This is the story of a coffee shop owner and the chilling footage he captured. One evening, while having dinner, his phone buzzed. The cafe alarm had gone off. Assuming it was a break-in, maybe clever thieves trying to rob the place, he rushed over to check it out himself. But when he arrived, everything was perfectly in place. No broken windows, no signs of forced entry, nothing out of the ordinary. The next morning, still feeling uneasy, he decided to check the security footage, just to be 100% sure, but nothing could have prepared him for what he was about to see. For days, he tried to convince himself that there had to be a logical explanation. Maybe it was a rat, maybe even a dog that somehow got inside. But there was one problem. He didn't have a dog or a cat. And whatever this thing was, it was far too big to be a rat or a mouse. If you ask me, it didn't even move like an animal. It looked more like a thick black cloud, shifting and gliding across the floor with purpose, something unnatural. Even though he still hasn't found a real answer, he keeps telling himself that nothing serious happened. But if I were in his place, I'd be thinking about setting up a cafe somewhere else. At first glance, this video might seem completely normal. Just another quiet night, just another tired man getting into a taxi after a long day at work. Nothing strange about that, right? Well, prepare yourself, because the terrifying part isn't that he got into the taxi, it's that he wasn't alone. Whoever or whatever got in with him wasn't supposed to be there. Without a doubt, the figure that followed him looked like a woman, but the entire clip raises more questions than answers. Where did she come from? Was she the spirit of someone connected to this man, or just a lost soul wandering aimlessly? And, more importantly, did he ever realize he wasn't alone in that taxi? Of course, some people believe this is just clever video editing. But if you watch closely, the figure blends too well into the scene, too naturally for it to be fake. Maybe it's even better if we never find out the truth. But one thing is for sure, the paranormal world is real. Most of us just aren't aware of it, at least not yet. Jinn are supernatural beings from Islamic and Arabic mythology. According to ancient stories, they were created from a pure flame of fire without smoke, while humans were formed from earth. Jinn are invisible to the human eye, but they can take on many forms: animals, humans, or even something far more terrifying. Some are good, some are neutral, but others are pure evil, and that's where the real problem begins. Things take a dark turn when a jinn decides to possess a person. If all of this sounds like nothing more than an old legend to you, then what you're about to see might change your mind.
Ayun, kanidros.
Siapa?
Yang
Terus dia keluar?
Terus dia keluar.
Ini siapa? Yang Islam itu? Ini yang itu katakan Islam itu? Kamu siapa? Kamu siapa? Kamu siapa? Kamu siapa? Kamu siapa? Kamu siapa? Ya, kamu siapa?
Izul.
Hah?
Si Izul.
Izul? Izul, kamu dari mana Izul?
The video shows a young girl undergoing an exorcism. At first, it might seem like just another ritual, something explainable. But if you still think this is just an act, keep watching, because what happens next is something that no one can explain.
Dia cukup dijaga oleh Allah.
Aku jaga ya saja.
Izul, perhatikan.
Aku jaga ya. Aku jaga ya. Aku jaga ya.
Dengar kan?
No, enggak.
Kamu mau dengar?
Aku mau kawan sama dia.
Kamu mau dengar? Kamu mau dengar?
Ya bagus, Bang.
The girl's voice changed. The soft, youthful tone was replaced by something deep and completely inhuman. It was like evil speaking through her. But the worst moments were still to come.
Pegang, lagi pegang. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Kalau kamu keluar, kamu zalim.
Nah, aku tidak mau keluar. Tidak mau. Aku mau keluar.
As the people around her began singing religious hymns, whatever was inside this girl did not like it. Unable to escape, it expressed its suffering and most likely its rage through her. By the way her body twisted, it was clear that whatever had taken hold of her was fighting back. Jinn have feelings and free will, just like people. If someone offends them without knowing, they might take revenge by possessing that person. Some say jinn are even used in black magic, sent by evil people to hurt others. In other cases, a jinn might take over a person, simply because it has fallen in love with them. Many believe that people who don't practice religious rituals or are spiritually weak are more likely to be attacked by jinn. Whatever the reason behind this girl's possession, one thing is clear. It makes you wonder if the stories about jinn are more than just stories, right? Amanda Pitt, a mother of 4 from Pennsylvania, never believed in ghosts. But one night, something happened that changed her mind. At 3:40 a.m., she woke up to the sound of heavy footsteps in her house. At first, she thought she was just dreaming. But when she checked the security camera, she saw a creepy, ghostly figure standing right in her kitchen doorway. Panicked, she woke up her husband, and together they went to check the house. But everything was normal. The doors and windows were locked, and there was no sign of a break-in. Still, something felt off. Their dog, who usually slept peacefully at night, was pacing nervously around the kitchen as if it sensed something they couldn't see. If that's not proof that animals can feel things we can't, then I don't know what is. Have you ever experienced something you just couldn't explain? Maybe a strange noise in the middle of the night, an eerie shadow in the corner of your eye, or even something more terrifying. Let us know in the comments. The start of December marked a very unusual situation in New Jersey because, one after another, hundreds of witnesses and clips were uploaded online, claiming that a UFO-like object had been seen in the sky.
The mysterious drones flying above multiple counties, and no one really seems to know exactly what's going on.
There were all types of drones lurking in the skies. They were seen at night and during the daytime. Sometimes there was just a single drone flying, and other times there were even multiple drones, leaving people confused about what exactly was happening.
Like a helicopter, depending on how big they are is how loud they are. There's red and green lights on either side of them.
Now, the whole thing started on December 12th, 2024, when a video was recorded of mysterious drones flying in the sky at night. The person recording had no idea what it was, so they caught it on camera and even reported it to the local police.
We're on the highway and out in the distance we see all these lights.
But this was the first sighting to be reported, though not the first to ever happen. When people went to New Jersey to talk to the locals, they realized this was not the first time mysterious drone sightings had occurred there.
It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like a mom, so I do my mom walkthroughs and this, that, or whatever. So I hear like this loud sound. It sounds like a generator or something.
So according to that woman, it was a drone in the sky with the loudest sound she had ever heard. But surprisingly enough, if all this had been happening for a year, why didn't anyone notice it? Until, of course, December 2024, when multiple people came forward at once with so many clips and pieces of evidence. And if you think this was only happening in New Jersey, then you are wrong, because this has also been recorded all around the globe, like this clip, which was recently recorded in Argentina. But while this clip showed a whole bunch of drones flying at night, there were fewer drones recorded in Ohio as well. And this one gets scarier because the drones just disappeared into thin air.
What I don't understand is how they're circling so close.
Yeah, what is going on there?
Whatever's trailing behind them just disappears.
Yeah, then it's gone.
But then people kept claiming they were just drones or planes in the sky, which left people confused until a video surfaced online that had everyone quiet. The giant UFO-like thing caught in the clip was nothing close to either a drone or a plane. And the sightings just never stopped. One after another, people kept seeing these weird things in the sky with no one to answer their questions.
Marmora, New Jersey.
They were coming in all shapes and sizes, sometimes huge, sometimes small, and other times in shapes no one could identify.
I've been seeing them at like 4 in the morning.
Have you?
Like twice.
That's very... I mean, that is the exact...
And with the volume of these clips and the way people were raising questions, the whole thing went mainstream, with journalists starting to ask what was happening.
For a month now, and we have no answers, and these drones have not stopped.
This pushed the mayor and others to give their take on whatever was happening, but it appeared they themselves had no clue. All they could say was that these drones were not a threat to the public, but when asked what they were, they seemed just as clueless as the public.
They were saying that they pose no threat. Now they realize that they can't say that. They don't know if these things are carrying payload. This is what they told us in the briefing.
Eventually, they even handed the whole case to the FBI to investigate what was happening, as residents were getting scared. Of course, anyone would be if their privacy was being breached this way, or worse, if those were some non-human entities just waiting to strike.
What the hell these drones are in New Jersey are? Is that correct?
That's right.
It's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. That's madness that we don't know what these drones are.
The Bureau is actively investigating the situation you mentioned, just the unexplained sighting of drone activity.
So yeah, for now, even the FBI has no clue what is happening in New Jersey or the whole world. Is it the apocalypse we've been warned about? Or just some people playing pranks on us? No one knows. For now, the FAA has banned anyone from flying drones in parts of New York and New Jersey, just to be safe. It was 11 p.m. on January 21st, 2013, when a YouTuber named Para Breakdown uploaded a video to his channel in which he appeared to be talking to the camera while deadly screams echoed in the background.
21st, about 11 p.m. I'm a couple hundred feet from my house, and you hear it going off in the background right now. Kind of sounds weird.
According to him, he was far from his home, and whatever creature was making those noises was clearly not a dog or a hyena. But then, a couple of minutes later, it sounded like the creature was starting to get closer.
I mean, that almost sounds like laughter.
The man stood there, recording all those deadly screams and laughter, like an evil entity getting closer to him. But then, a few minutes later, he heard this.
Pretty sure my friend who's doing a documentary on Bigfoot will enjoy this footage.
One after another, more shots were heard, followed by a loud scream. Probably someone was too irritated by the creature because, after that, there was complete silence. On October 31st, 2024, a video was uploaded on YouTube where the user claimed they had set up a trail camera near one of their Jeeps during a trip to Ruby Falls in Alberta. They just wanted to be safe, but little did they know things were about to get creepy later that night. This is what the camera recorded. A weird, shadowy figure appeared on the screen, walking just like a human would. But the vagueness of it was enough to suggest that it was not a human being. But then, what was it? A hoax or an actual humanoid being? Let me know in the comments below. Uploaded on TikTok by a user named Suntukajasi, the clip showcases some memorable moments a family recorded when they went on a trip together. However, what they didn't know was that they were not the only people there. Someone was following them. A little far behind them, on the other side of the waterfall, stood a black figure seemingly looking at them. If I zoom in a bit, you will see how the figure resembles a human being. However, according to the family, there were not many people, let alone on that dangerous side. So then, who was it? Many thought it to be a ghost, while others said he might be just someone with bad intentions, looking for an opportunity to strike. Another video uploaded on Dailymotion shows some friends wandering around in a forest near some old train tracks when they encounter something scary. A couple with creepy masks on stood right in front of them, staring directly. This is how the situation unfolded. Just a few minutes later, the guy was standing on an old abandoned train carriage, while the woman appeared to be coming closer to them from a different angle. If we zoom into her hand, we can see she appears to be holding a weapon, which most obviously looks like a gun. Thankfully, the friends got away safely, but the couple seems to be harassing other people too, with their intentions unknown. What started off as an ordinary day took a darker turn for the teenagers in Seattle who were trying out this new app called Randonautica for some adventure in June 2019. As the teens decided to get out of the house, the app led them to Alki Beach in West Seattle.
Guys, we found a suitcase at the beach.
Gabby, go. I'll hold your stuff.
and what they found was a suitcase. They started joking that maybe it had money, and then one of the girls went to check what was inside. Eventually, what they witnessed and recorded changed their lives forever.
Bro. Wait, open it. Open it. It stinks, y'all.
Immediately after the suitcase was opened, a harsh smell filled the air, with each member of the group complaining about the strong stench. Along with this, inside the suitcase was yet another bag, and though they couldn't see through it, they had their suspicions on what it could be, with their two guesses being either spoiled food or a body.
Oh! Oh! Okay, so she's calling the police so we can see if it's actually a dead body or it's just food.
According to later reports, their second guess turned out to be correct. It was human remains inside the suitcase, stinking all the way.
What started as a fun adventure ended with a very grisly discovery. Some teens who were using a TikTok app that randomly generates a nearby location to explore got to the location.
As the news hit the mainstream media, everyone who was claiming it to be fake or a hoax realized that whatever happened was very real, and the app these kids were using was more disturbing than initially thought. Police discovered that within the suitcase were the remains of an unidentified victim. A victim who had been cut up into pieces, put inside multiple bags, and thrown into the water, with search teams eventually finding other bags in the area that included human remains. As of now, it's not currently confirmed whether these remains are all from the same person or from multiple others, but it seems that the assumption as of now is that this is just one victim.
Another bag of human remains was found floating in the ocean nearby.
Apparently, the app uses number generators to give the user a random set of coordinates so they can travel to a brand new spot, which is always somewhere near their current location. Randonautica users often report strange synchronicities between their intentions and what they find. Someone might set an intention for red and end up at a spot where red objects are scattered everywhere. But things get darker when users set intentions like demise, fear, or something creepy.
Just go to this f***ing quantum point and this whole f***ing person is Sky. Oh my god, bitch, I can't. What if the person shows up in my rear view camera? No.
But it was not just the findings that make Randonautica unsettling. It was the sense that something, or someone, was aware of the user's journey. People reported feeling watched or encountering strangers in desolate areas. Some claimed to hear whispers or see shadowy figures lurking nearby. One user recorded their adventure in a remote forest at night, and the girl who went out to check came back and said this.
No, because I heard Natalie saying Jamie even when the windows were locked.
No, I didn't say anything.
You didn't say Jamie?
No.
There were also eerie cases of users being led to locations that seemed to tap into their personal fears.
So we decided to play Randonautica, and it took us to this random detention center. It's just kind of a dead end back here, and immediately it rerouted us, and she got a text from a random ass number that said, "Are you real?"
Many users had speculated that Randonautica tapped into the user's subconscious, somehow pulling their fears, thoughts, and desires into the experience. Others believed the app used some kind of hidden algorithm to create these seemingly impossible coincidences. Randonautica's creators insist that the app is about exploration, curiosity, and seeing the world differently. But even they acknowledge that users should be cautious.
The tool But as the Randonauts, you guys are testing what we call mind-matter interaction to see, can my mind have an influence on the world around me?
The randomness of the locations meant users could end up anywhere. Dangerous neighborhoods, private property, or places that hid something sinister. The line between a fun adventure and a real-life nightmare was razor thin with Randonautica. In mid-2020, a series named The Walten Files graced the internet. While it's filled with lovable characters and a nostalgic atmosphere, the story behind it is much darker than it seems. The Walten Files, a show birthed on April 26, 2020 by an online creator named Martin Walls, is inspired by the hit indie classic Five Nights at Freddy's and combined with a clear love for analog horror storytelling. Walls crafted an insanely engrossing narrative surrounding 4 animatronics that were assembled for a burger restaurant named Bond's Burgers. The narrative of the Walten Files revolves around the now extinct Bunny Smiles. The establishment was meant to be a fun, family entertainment venue, much like Chuck Cheese, with animatronic characters entertaining children. But from the very first episode, something is deeply wrong. An unspecified incident in 1974 causes it to be condemned, and a legacy of horrific, possibly supernatural, terrors spin off from the restaurant in question. This time, Bond's Burgers, which is said to have operated in 1974 in Brighton, Michigan. The Hook, a troupe of robotic mascot characters called the Showstoppers, which includes our title character, Bon Bunny, Boo Zoo, the ringmaster Shaw the Sheep, Billy the Clown, and Banny the Other Rabbit, because redundant so far. The canon storyline is spread out across 3 main uploads made by a person named Anthony, titled Introductory Tape, Relocate Project, and Bunny Farm. As the story starts, viewers begin to come up with theories and assumptions, some even saying that the tapes hide a gruesome truth. People have gone missing, and their souls may be trapped inside the animatronics. One of the most disturbing aspects of the Walten Files is its use of distorted, glitchy footage. The videos frequently shift from cheerful, colorful animation to dark, grainy clips, making it a very unsettling experience overall. The series cleverly uses audio distortion to add to the horror. In one video, a cheerful song plays over footage of the animatronics, but the song slowly warps, the lyrics becoming hard to understand. In the background, faint screams and whispers can be heard, hinting at the horrors hidden behind the scenes. Characters like Jack Walton, the founder of Bond's Burgers, and Sophie, his daughter, become central to the mystery. As the tapes progress, it becomes clear that Jack disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Sophie, too, seems to be linked to the dark events, but her memories are fragmented and unclear. The horror in the Walten Files comes not from jump scares, but from the slow, creeping realization of what happened to these characters. And then, in a distorted segment, her eyes seem to follow the viewer, and a voice whispers, "She's been here for so long." The implication is that a human soul is trapped within the metal and wires, suffering eternally.
With the new one.
And that encompasses the entirety of the Walten Files. Dark, complex, disturbing. The fragmented nature of the tapes, the cryptic messages, and the unsettling imagery all work together to create a sense of dread and curiosity. It's a horror story that doesn't hand you all the answers, but makes you feel the weight of its mystery. If you've been on the internet in the last decade, you might remember a specific figure, a mannequin-like woman who was featured in a lot of disturbing top 10 lists in the early days of YouTube. What it actually was, though, was a fictional character created by artist and filmmaker Eric Fournier. Shaye somehow became a symbol of surreal horror. In the early 2000s, he created a character named Shaye St. John, whose tragic backstory is as follows. Former model Shaye lost both her arms and legs and spent several months in the hospital after being hit by a train. So, instead of recovering, she rebuilt herself with mannequin parts. Her face is a smooth plastic mask with exaggerated painted-on makeup, and her body is a patchwork of disjointed mannequin limbs.
And her doll, Kiki.
Eric began creating and uploading these videos to a website called LiveJournal. Founded in 1999, LiveJournal is a Russian social networking website where users blog about anything they want. Plus, all of the videos were intentionally low budget, with glitchy editing, abrupt sounds, and chaotic dialogue that made viewers feel like they were experiencing a fever dream.
Who was featured in a lot of disturbing top 10s in the early days of YouTube.
Then, there was the fact that Eric liked to call his videos triggers, not just videos. Probably because they were designed to evoke intense, sometimes involuntary, emotional reactions from the viewer, which they did. Out of a couple of videos he posted, the most popular one, which most of you are probably familiar with, is called Hand Thing.
Shaye, are you still doing that hand thing? I heard you're doing the hand thing today. God, what is that? Shaye, what is it?
There are several other, such as Oh My God, Lala, and Street Walking. In addition to strange YouTube videos, Shaye St. John also has a website called shayston.net. The website is very poorly put together, but vast, with lots to explore. A lot of it is just extremely random. But Shaye St. John is more than just surreal horror. There's an undercurrent of tragedy in the character. Behind the creepy mannequin mask, there's a hint of someone broken, trying desperately to piece themselves back together, physically and mentally. This combination of absurdity, horror, and sadness is what makes Shaye so unnerving.
What do you think? This is my condition.
The meaning and message that thing is trying to show off may be so much more important than people make it seem like. Cannock Chase is one of England's finest landscapes, located in the heart of Staffordshire, and considered the jewel of the West Midlands. It is well known and loved for its scenery, wildlife, and rich history. However, Cannock Chase is also infamous for some sinister happenings. 3 little girls were put to death by a man, and their bodies were found in the forest. Since then, the forest has become famous for supernatural phenomena, attracting many paranormal investigators to explore the entities that might reside. A selfie taken by 13-year-old Adele shook the whole internet. What appeared like a harmless selfie had a scary shadow lurking behind her. Right beside her brother, Colton, was a figure Adele had never seen before. Many, including Adele and her family, believed it to be a ghost photobombing her selfie. But whose ghost was it? And did it travel with them to the town? Those are some of the questions that still haunt Adele and her brother. This video was uploaded by a user who went with his friends to a forest famous for witchcraft, located right next to a railroad with a bridge above it. They spent hours there, trying different things and seeing if they would catch anything on camera. From the hours-long footage, this is the most haunting thing they noticed.
Other people, and we can ask them questions as well.
As the camera moved, capturing all the tall trees in the forest, a shadow seemingly appeared on the camera. According to the man, many would think it was a tree, but since he and his dad are into this witchcraft thing, they knew it wasn't a tree. According to them, it could be a witch just staring at them from the corner. Still, the whole thing remains a mystery. A TikTok user uploaded a video on July 20th, 2024, while hiking in the forest on a rainy day. As he ventured further, he noticed a strange area covered by trees.
I mean, all bullshit aside, this is pretty cool, right? What they say about going under arches in the woods.
What he found was a chilling sight, a sacrificial fire ring and a chimney. But things only got scarier from there.
I heard it again.
Oh, shit. While recording, he suddenly heard a voice say "hi," sending shivers down his spine. He ran out of the forest as fast as he could, grateful to have escaped unharmed. On August 9th, 2019, two friends explored a haunted forest, hoping to experience something paranormal. After hours with no results, they captured this video. A shadowy figure appeared behind them, standing atop a structure. Skeptics might doubt its existence, but the figure's movement as the friends walked away suggested it was very real. A Reddit user uploaded a video from when he was hiking in the woods. Sensing someone nearby, he took out his camera to record. This is what he captured.
Alright, well, I'm just going for a walk. That's a bit sus. I even looked that way and there was nothing there earlier. I don't know what it is, but it is what it is. I'm going home now. Bye-bye.
At first, he thought it was just a tree, but then he noticed a black spot on top, likely its head or hair. That's when he realized it might be the girl his sister told stories about. He quickly left, deciding never to return. A woman living near a forest experienced her usual day, until one day she went out and recorded something strange. And that was the first day. She kept seeing the creature every other day, always jumping around behind the trees, but never coming closer. She uploaded these videos on TikTok, hoping someone could help her identify what it was, but no one knew. After watching this video, I must say, I'll never doubt what's possible and what's not again. This footage from Nigeria showcases something truly out of the ordinary. A strange goat born in a village. While the goat's body appears normal, it's the face that's really turned heads. It has 2 human-like eyes and a mouth complete with lips, but strangely, no visible nose. The combination of those eyes and lips gives it an uncanny resemblance to a human face, making it quite creepy to look at. Experts attribute this anomaly to genetic mutation, but some viewers speculate it could be the result of a crossbreeding experiment between a goat and a human. However, without more information, it's hard to say for sure. Either way, it's one of those jaw-dropping moments that makes you reconsider what you thought you knew. Imagine peering through the lens of a Ring camera, typically a silent guardian of the night, when it captures a surprising visit right at the front of a house. I personally enjoy seeing how animals react to human environment. Step into the quiet world of a field at night, observed through the watchful eye of a trail camera. The deer turns to face the camera directly, and what unfolds next is a captivating display. It begins to move its hind legs in an unusual manner, almost as if it's performing a dance. This peculiar behavior is fascinating, seeming as though the deer is aware of the camera's presence and has decided to put on a show, or perhaps it's engaging in a natural behavior that just happens to resemble a dance. This unexpected dance could be a spontaneous display of playfulness, or a rare behavior triggered by the deer's interaction with its environment, possibly even a response to the infrared light or the slight sound from the camera. I find this video very interesting, as it seems like the deer is aware that it is being filmed and decided to set up a show. The 1980 arcade game Berserk might seem like an innocent piece of nostalgia at first glance. It was one of the first games to feature synthesized speech, with robotic voices shouting phrases like "Intruder alert" and "The humanoid must not escape."
Intruder, the humanoid must not escape.
The game itself was simple. Players controlled a green stick figure trying to escape maze-like rooms filled with hostile robots. But Berserk is no ordinary arcade game. It carries a chilling legacy. It has been widely regarded as a cursed game, selectively eliminating players who came into contact with the game's primary antagonist, a character by the name of Evil Otto.
Intruder alert, intruder alert. Get the intruder. The intruder must not escape.
The first incident happened in April 1982. A teenager named Jeff Daly, just 19 years old, played Berserk at a local arcade. He managed to achieve a high score of 16,660 points. But moments after entering his initials on the leaderboard, Jeff collapsed. But the story didn't end there. Just a year later, in October 1983, another teenager, Peter Bukowski, also 19, played Berserk at an arcade in Calumet City, Illinois. He too achieved a high score and then dropped lifeless from a heart attack. 2 heart attacks linked to the same game? It was enough to spark wild speculation and fear. Rumors spread that Berserk was cursed, or that the game itself was somehow causing these demises. Maybe it was the flashy lights causing some disturbance? But people, just being themselves, began to wonder if something sinister was hiding within the code, like the game itself was alive and hunting down players. Some believed the game was demonic, cursed, or possessed. It didn't help that the game's enemies, cold robotic attackers, seemed to echo this soulless malevolence. If you're unfamiliar with the Mandela Catalog, well, I would guess that you've been living under a rock. Because the series, created by Alex Kister, is one of the most well-loved horror projects on YouTube today.
These intelligent life forms utilize elements of psychological warfare to take advantage of their victims.
It explores the concept of alternates, sinister entities that mimic humans to take their place. The series presents its horror through found footage, analog horror aesthetics, and distorted PSAs that reveal an alternate version of reality, one where these entities infiltrate human lives. The first volume introduces the premise through a public service announcement. PSA. The audience learns about alternates, beings that replace humans by adopting their likeness. The PSA warns people to avoid looking directly at alternates and to contact authorities if they encounter one. A chilling revelation follows. If you see an alternate, survival is unlikely. The PSA instructs people to know their place in reality. The character Mark Heathcliff is introduced through a series of recordings. He experiences disturbing phenomena in his home. Mark documents noises, shadows, and the sense that someone or something is inside his house. As his paranoia increases, Mark's recordings reveal a psychological breakdown.
But me and Mark.
And then Mark just disappeared. His fate remained ambiguous, but the sense of dread comes from not knowing if Mark's perceptions were real or if he was trapped by his own mind. The alternates are not just physical threats. They are psychological predators. They manipulate their victims' fears and insecurities. In the Mandela Catalog, a simple glance at an alternate can lead to existential dread and madness. Then came Volume 2. This volume introduces a corrupted version of the Archangel Gabriel. In this twisted reality, Gabriel is responsible for the creation of alternates.
Why do you defy me? I know all. I see all. I know what you did.
The unholy version of the Archangel Gabriel represents a betrayal of divine trust. This inversion of religious themes makes the horror feel existential. If sacred figures can be corrupted, what hope is there for humanity, right? Thus, in the Mandela Catalog, the threat is not just physical demise. It is the erasure of identity and reality. Candle Cove is one of those eerie internet stories that seems simple at first, but gets more disturbing the deeper you go. It all started with a thread where users were chatting about an old children's TV show they remembered from the 1970s.
Oh no! Laughing stock. That's one whale of a storm.
At first, it sounds like regular nostalgia. People swapping memories about a weird, low-budget puppet show. But the more they remember, the stranger it gets. What begins as a harmless trip down memory lane quickly turns into something that makes you question reality. One memory stands out. The puppets just staring at the camera silently for several minutes while unsettling music plays. That doesn't sound like something meant for kids. And then there was the time when the puppets would just scream. As you explore more of these Candle Cove videos on YouTube, you might stumble upon disturbing edits or clips with sudden jump scares, cryptic whispers, or eerie background noises. What makes Candle Cove even creepier is the idea that, according to some versions of the story, kids who claim to be watching the show were actually staring at TV static. Parents would walk in and find their children watching a blank screen while insisting that they were enjoying an episode. The idea that something so creepy could be lurking in a seemingly innocent children's show taps into a deep fear, the corruption of childhood innocence. It's no wonder that Candle Cove has sparked so many interpretations, conspiracies, and eerie recreations online. Whether it's just a creepypasta or something more sinister hiding in plain sight, the unsettling nature of Candle Cove lingers with you, making you question what you really saw on your TV as a kid. For more strange and interesting footage, check this out. Three friends investigate the nearby woods and come across something that is neither man nor beast, or maybe it's both. While navigating the dark forest with flashlights, they hear a loud, pig-like growl ahead, feeling pretty chilling and unnatural.
I don't know, maybe. What was that?
Ignoring the fear, they press on, but the sounds grow louder, closer, and more menacing. There was also this sudden smell of a dead animal around that was just strange.
I don't even know why I just thought of this.
Dude.
We were...
Before they can process the smell, something charges from the darkness. It looks like a grotesque mix of a pig and a humanoid, with arms and legs, sending them fleeing in terror.
Oh crap! What is that?
People are calling it the infamous Pigman, and it sure fits the description. But seriously, why venture into the woods at night? Terrifying. A woman found an old suitcase in her storeroom, but opening it unleashed something that should have stayed locked away. While her kids were with their dad, she decided to open the suitcase. The moment she did, she heard a loud metallic sound coming from her backyard.
Come on. I don't know. I don't think... What the fuck? Holy shit.
Rushing outside, she heard a baby crying from her storeroom. As she approached the door, it suddenly opened on its own, sending her running in terror.
My kids are with their dad. What the fuck?
In a follow-up video, she reopened the suitcase to find random items like posters and magazines. Yet, strange events escalated. Her storeroom door moved on its own. Her house door slammed shut, and even her car started acting up. A woman found an old...
Okay, I got it up. Oh god. Okay. This is just an actual telephone book. Sheet music. Okay. And the wind isn't even going. I need to call someone, to come. What the fuck? Oh my god. The cops said they won't even come meet me because I don't want to go back there and meet them there.
One day, while filming in her house, her kitchen curtain shifted despite the window being closed. Then a mini ladder moved on its own. A glove fell, and a decoration started swinging, escalated.
Whatever you are, leave my fucking house now. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my god. Oh shit, sorry. Fuck. Oh god. Okay. Okay. Holy shit. Okay. What the fuck?
It all seems tied to that suitcase. My advice? Lock it up and put it back before things spiral even further.
Okay. And like, the wind isn't even going. I need to call someone, like, to come. What the fuck? Oh my god. The cops said they won't even come meet me because I don't want to go back there and meet them there.
One day, while filming in her house, her kitchen curtain shifted despite the window being closed. Then, a mini ladder moved on its own. A glove fell, and a decoration started swinging.
Whatever you are, leave my fucking house now. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my god. Oh shit, sorry. Fuck. Oh god. Okay. Okay. Holy shit. Okay. What the fuck?
It all seems tied to that suitcase. My advice? Lock it up and put it back before things spiral even further. On May 15th, 2017, a security guard in Mexico experienced one of the most terrifying nights of his life. During his night shift, he captured this eerie video after hearing strange crying sounds in the distance. The cries, resembling a woman wailing in anguish, echoed around him, yet no one was visible as he panned the camera.
Es en la calle. No se puede ver nada, pero sí se alcanza a escuchar. Oigan, oigan, oigan.
Viewers believe this could be La Llorona, the weeping woman from Mexican folklore, a vengeful ghost said to mourn her drowned children near bodies of water. Props to the security guard for staying put despite the chilling sounds. If I were in his place, I'd have fainted at the first scream. Up next is security camera footage that even made it to TV, capturing what seems to be an alien descending from the sky. This incident was reported by a well-known Peruvian news channel after a strange object was spotted flying over a military base in Peru, captured by multiple cameras.
Un extraño ser descendió en un halo de luz en esta base militar de máxima seguridad en el Perú.
As it hovered, something appeared to descend from the craft and walk along the road. But as it noticed passers-by, it glowed and quickly flew away. You can even see the bystanders looking on in confusion.
Aunque algunos dicen que se trató de un globo, los militares niegan esta versión. Afirman que fue un ser con rostro dulce y angelical que quiso tocarlos, pero no lo hizo y se elevó frente a ellos. 3 cámaras de vigilancia lo captaron acercándose a 2 soldados. Luego desapareció. Todos los militares testigos del hecho fueron interrogados.
It looks like an alien craft dropping off a visitor, but why at a military base? Are they spying on Peru's military operations? Truly strange. Up next, we have leaked footage revealing a jellyfish-like UAP matching the description from the Immaculate Constellation report. The report detailed an organic UAP resembling a jellyfish with rigid appendages hanging downward. This leaked military video captures something eerily similar, zipping over a base at incredible speed. Viewers in the comments shared their own sightings of similar UAPs, adding to the mystery. We often imagine aliens as humanoid, but a jellyfish in the sky? That's something completely unexpected. This homeowner started hearing strange noises from his bathroom, leading to a terrifying discovery. In the first of a 4-part TikTok series, he set up a camera to investigate the sounds. To his horror, it captured a black figure peeking through the bathroom mirror.
So I've been hearing some strange noises coming from this bathroom. And so I'm going to set up this camera to record and see if we catch anything.
In a follow-up, while sitting on his couch, he called out to the figure, and it appeared again, leaving him in shock.
Alright guys, so you wanted an update. So here is the shower. That's where the cat goes to the bathroom, so nobody's in there. Nobody's in the bathroom. Nothing's behind the door. Alright, we're turning the light off because it doesn't like the light. We've been playing peekaboo. Peekaboo!
Determined to confront it, he went to the bathroom and called it out. What happened next was chilling.
Alright, I appreciate all the well wishes. I haven't been getting great sleep lately. I don't know if it's because of this, but I'm gonna take your advice. It's been slamming the doors again this morning. I'm just gonna tell it to get the fuck out of here, okay? Alright, this is it. You are not welcome here. You need to leave. We are done with your bullshit. We are not gonna take it anymore, okay? You need to get the fuck out. No, no, this is some fucking bullshit.
A folklorist friend suggested it might be a kobold and gave him protective charms. Using a spirit box, the homeowner tried communicating with the entity. The spirit spoke cryptically about its appearances, but denied any harmful intent.
He thinks it's a kobold or a bogart, which is kind of like a house spirit that likes to play tricks on you. So it seems in line. He sent me a couple items, nice protection bracelet that he made, and a medal of Saint Benedict, which will, I guess, kind of protect me or ward if it's not a bogart and is in fact a demon. Are you here to hurt us?
While the spirit claims it means no harm, its actions and eerie presence tell a different story. My advice? It might be time to pack up and move. Next, we have chilling security footage showing a man's terrifying face-to-face encounter with what appears to be an extraterrestrial object. Uploaded on Reddit, the video shows a man crossing the road when he suddenly freezes, seemingly locked in a trance as an irregular UAP hovers nearby. The object moves around briefly before vanishing, at which point the man unfreezes and walks away as if nothing happened.
Parece que va rodando. No, se va elevando, pero de poquito a poquito. Porque ahí entró el camión de la basura. El camión. ¿Se le va a parar? Pero no. Parece un corazón. Un globo.
This video was even referenced during a recent congressional hearing, where Navy personnel reported a similar encounter, being locked in a trance-like state after encountering a UAP at sea. If these objects can control people or erase memories, what else might they be capable of? Terrifying to think about. A father looking back at an old photo of his son after a football game accidentally noticed what some are calling an angel. The video, uploaded on Fox 2 St. Louis in 2009, shows a frame from a disposable camera featuring what looks like an angelic figure. When shown to Doe Lauder, a man from Fenton, He believed it was his son Kyle, who tragically passed away at 20 while on his way to the same football field. Doe is convinced it's a sign of his son returning. It's eerie that the same field where his son's life was lost is now where this mysterious figure appeared. What do you think?
This week, we showed you a photograph of what some believe is an angel. It was on a frame of film from a disposable camera.
I believe that totally, 100%, that's my son. And he's in a better place.
What appears to be an angel shows up in a snapshot taken by Brian Roth of Herculaneum. He's the proud grandfather of Blaine Thompson, who posed with teammate Hayden Voelz after their team won a youth football game Super Bowl.
If you think cemeteries are creepy, at night, you haven't seen this video. Two friends recorded this eerie footage of a girl in white wandering around a nearby cemetery. She was jumping over graves, moving in a hunched, zombie-like way. There was something unsettling about her. Whether she was drunk, mentally ill, or something else entirely, it's hard to say. Whatever she was, the friends definitely shouldn't have called her out like that.
I've been recording the whole time. Yo, me and Eon seen this bitch walking through the cemetery. Blowing it, running through the cemetery and landed on a fucking tombstone.
Yeah, she was blowing it. She landed on a tombstone. She was blowing it. Hey, what you doing, girl?
Yo, that shit is creepy as...
What the fuck?
What happened?
What the fuck is she doing?
Why she touching other people's graves?
Yo, she just bust her head on the other grave, though.
Did she?
She got on no shoes, bro.
What she just grabbed?
A flower. She just grabbed a flower. She got on no shoes.
Yo, Boogie, we watching a fucking ghost. She... Oh, don't say nothing to her. Don't say nothing to her. I'm scared as shit. Cause what if she, nigga, she knows where you live, nigga? Live across the street from the cemetery.
I'll shoot that bitch. Shoot that bitch.
Nigga, this bitch is crazy.
Yo, what the fuck?
Yo, what the fuck?
Yo, I see. Yo, where the blunt at? Pass the blunt. Pass the fucking blunt. I cannot. Nah. She was blowing it. Did you see how she tripped over that tombstone?
She landed on a tombstone.
On it, on her head. And she planned this. Yo!
There's no way in fuck she planned this, Boogie.
Yo!
She ain't answering nobody. She ain't look at us.
Yo, girl in all white!
Yo, girl in all white.
You scaring me! You really scaring me! You scaring the shit out of me! Yo! You scaring the shit out of me! Go home! Go home!
Yo, Boogie, she gonna come back and she gonna be sitting right in front of your house, nigga. And I'm gonna pop that bitch.
Her ass.
Yo, she ran through the cemetery and was walking.
Yo, I wish I still had that BB gun.
Yo, you gotta let her go. Maybe she's like hurting or something.
Why was she running that fast though?
But why she just stop and take someone else? She took someone else's flower, nigga, from there.
Look, she's swinging it. She's having fun, B. Yo, I'm gonna have to go karate kick this bitch.
Yo, this is the creepiest shit that I've ever seen in my life.
My nigga, yo, bitches had a picnic in there the other day.
Fuck a picnic, nigga. She has on all white and she's running and jumping on people's tombstones. Yo, you crazy bitch.
You the crazy bitch.
Nigga, she's jumping on people's tombstones.
What? Oh my God.
She's spinning this shit? Nah.
World star.
World star. Where'd she go?
World star.
Where'd she go?
She disappeared.
She ain't disappeared. Hold on. She went behind the tombstone. She went behind that tombstone right there, that big one. Yo, Mo. Yo, Mo, she's gone, Mo. Yo, Mo, she's gone.
Pass the blunt.
Nah, fuck, hold up. We gotta find her.
No, I don't want to find her.
I'm holding this fucking camera like this. Take that. I'm holding this camera until she come out from behind that fucking tombstone.
A homeowner was home alone when he heard continuous knocking noises on his front door. When he went to check, he was in for a terrifying surprise.
There's been someone knocking at my front door for the last 10 minutes or so, and they haven't stopped knocking. Hello? Who's there?
According to him, the knocking had been going on for a full 10 minutes, with the exact same pattern over and over. There's no one outside, not a single soul, just the empty darkness stretching across his yard. And it didn't stop there. Now it was coming from his backyard door, the same relentless knocking. And again, no one there. Then back to the front door, like some unseen prankster was toying with him.
Are you kidding me?
This is definitely creepy stuff. Whatever's behind this knocking, it's almost like it's enjoying messing with the poor guy's nerves. Imagine being in his shoes. How would you handle it? Imagine working the night shift and accidentally catching what looks like a murder cleanup in progress. That's exactly what happened to this TikTok user.
There's literally somebody outside like dragging a bag at my work. No, sorry, I'm just recording in case something happens. I can't see his face. Where's he going? He's literally running down to the door. He's coming up to the door right now. See? Oh my God! He's outside the door. He's outside the door right now. No, there's nowhere to hide in here. It's just this one room. The door is locked, but he's like behind the building now. I don't, can you just get here, please, really?
I mean, that's exactly how you'd expect someone to handle a cleanup after a crime. And the way this guy bolted toward the door. Instant jump scare. Here's a bit more of the story behind it.
Part 2. So yeah, I was working night shift at work, and the security cameras we have beep when it senses motion. It was pretty late at night and I heard the beep go off, so I went to go look at the camera. Somebody was dragging a bag right beside the building. I was pretty creeped out, so I went and grabbed the work phone and called 911. By the time I was on the phone with them, the guy walked up the road a little bit, but then he started to come back towards the building. This is when I started recording. After the video ended, he ran out of sight of the camera. I never seen him again after that. A bunch of cops came, they told me to stay in the building, and they searched the area for him. They said inside his bag just had a bunch of clothes, but some of the clothes had some blood on them, I guess. Anyways, they're gonna take that in for investigation. They took the security camera footage, and of course they sent me home that night because they didn't find him. But yeah, that's all I know so far. Hope that's a good enough update.
So, this guy was just minding his business on a night shift when this creepy scene unfolded. But when the police arrived, all they found was a bag filled with. And here's the creepy part. The clothes were stained with blood. Now, I don't know about you, but that screams murder cleanup. And the eeriest part is, whoever was responsible is possibly still out there doing the deed. If you are enjoying this so far, consider subscribing. It really helps me keep this channel going. In school, we all heard rumors about the bathrooms being haunted. Just whispers and stories. Though with no real proof. Until this video surfaced online.
Universidad. El peor ahorita es que acabo de terminar de hacer el baño. Estaba tocando la puerta, pero quiero que vean que pues no hay nada. Vean, ahí está mi reflejo, pero no hay nada, vean. Acá tampoco, vean. Aquí tampoco hay nada. Y acá el lugar es bastante pequeño y está mi reflejo. Pero vean, uy. ¿Escucharon? ¿Escucharon?
Did you catch that? The source of the banging noise. Let's pause the video at the exact moment the camera pans past the door. What is that? It doesn't look like a student, and definitely not a teacher. I'm willing to bet this was the very thing behind those eerie noises. The one that fueled all those student rumors. Honestly, seeing this, I'm grateful I never used my school's restrooms alone. This footage comes from Romania. A security camera managed to capture something bizarre during the night. Take a look. It clearly does not look human. It has bizarre arms and legs, but the most disturbing part of its body is that hunched back, like it is severely deformed. People online claim this is in fact the real form of a skinwalker. When not taking up any shape, its own form is grotesque and similar to this one. What do you think? Could this be the case? I think we all know what is going on nowadays with all the UAP sightings, but this one is more bizarre.
Look! I don't think that's it. That sounds like
This one is from Los Angeles and shows this strange glowing orb changing course and speed rapidly. So we can dismiss entirely the idea that it is a comet. A drone would also not fit, because these do not have tails and certainly are not that bright. So what exactly could this be? Could this be an aircraft we have never seen before? Take a look at this insane footage. I have no idea whether this is real or not. I have never heard of such big snails before. Could it be an animatronic? Although, it looks way too good. Whatever the case, my megalophobia went through the roof. This man found himself in a particular dangerous situation. He took a nap in a field, and apparently, this cobra snake decided to make his shirt its home.
अभी आवाज आ रही भाई साहब अभी भाई हाथ हटाओ काट लेगा हाँ कहाँ पे उठाओ जरा देखिए बोलना नहीं अरे ये आया कैसे बहुत बड़ा ये रहा अभी ये तो नाक कोबरा लग रहा है कोबरा निकल रहा
Despite its aggressive reputation, the king cobra is actually much more cautious than many smaller snakes. And although a dangerous species, it prefers to escape rather than fight. So the careful approach was essential here. Vich embarked on a solo trip into the depths of a cave and never made it out. Vich is a YouTuber who unveils different mysteries, finds uncommon places to entertain viewers, and educate them with the unseen wonders of the world. But on a fateful day, he set out to thrill his fans with another experience. However, that was the last time he was seen again. Around late 2014, Kenny posted what seems to be the worst experience of his life. He talked about his not-so-good experience at a cave he had previously visited. But Kenny was too curious to let go of that mysterious feeling and wanted to know what exactly triggered the feeling he got. So he set off to find the mysterious cave for a second time. Armed with a 9mm handgun and a video camera, Kenny believed he would be safe exploring the cave since he had his firearm near him. He began his exploration with nothing much going on at first. Just like any other hiker, Kenny had some supplies packed in his bag, and he decides to test his body limits to predict his survival in this hike. As he continues the journey, Kenny begins to see some small, strange caves, but not quite the one he is looking for. After disregarding these caves, something catches his eyes.
I'm not going up there.
As opposed to going back and ending the vlog, Kenny confesses to having seen some evidence of danger around this site. He mentioned that he had come across different skulls around the area, a clear indication that predators, such as mountain lions, could be living in the area. It was clear to Kenny that this site isn't a place to mess with, because other hikers also tend to avoid it. After a while of walking around and not finding the cave, he decided to call it a day. These are the last moments anyone has seen Kenny alive. There has been different speculation about Kenny's disappearance. While some claim that he got attacked by a predator in the desert, others did say he got stuck in the caves on site. However, the truth might actually be darker than this. This comment was allegedly made by his girlfriend, giving an explanation of what might have happened. Kenny had shown signs of depression. For 1 year, he had no work. He tried to make a business on his own, decorating homes in a cowboy style. However, things were not going well, and his money was running out, and so was his mental health. He even had conversations about so-called pulling a Robin Williams on her. But the crucial thing he mentioned was that if he decides to do exactly that, end things altogether, he would never be found. In the video, there are no signs that he's about to do anything reckless. If one looks at the video without knowing the story, he'd say he's doing quite well. But just like in many cases, depression could be hiding behind a big, bright smile. Could this be the ending of his story and the reason of his disappearance? I will leave it up to you to decide. Kenny's story was quite tragic, but it is even more horrifying to go missing, with the traces of your husband being a prime suspect. And this is exactly the next story, the story of Susan Powell's last moments. In December 2009, Susan Powell, a mother of 2 kids, vanished without a trace after she failed to show up for work one morning. But Susan's disappearance was not without warning. A year earlier, she had revealed a haunting fear to her friends.
Making sure that if something happens to me or my family or all of us, that our assets are documented.
That she was growing distrustful and didn't feel safe in her home. On this same day, Susan wrote a letter indicating her family problems and what she has been going through mentally. In this letter, she wrote that her husband said, "If we divorce, there will be no lawyers, only mediators, and I will ruin you." The letter also mentioned this horrifying statement by Susan's husband: "I will be ruined too, but your life will be over, and the boys will grow up without a mom and dad." Susan was so scared that she included in her letter that she had earlier spoken to some people about the issues, and that if anything happens to her, they should know all the details. As much as she wanted her marriage to work out, this letter was the only passing note found to be reasonable and useful after her disappearance. Towards the end of the letter, Susan included that whoever sees that text should at the very least take care of her boys. Little did she know that her imaginations would become a reality. This feeling of fear grew drastically within the space of a month, causing her to make a video where she talked about her skepticism of her safety in July 2008. According to her suspicions, Susan feared that her husband might be going crazy and she would be exhibiting some unusual behaviors that might cause a change in her life and that of her children. While documenting this video on this particular day, Susan feared that this tape might run into the hands of her husband. She stated that the video was for the purpose of taking an inventory for the house, just for insurance's purposes. While taking this inventory, Susan started dropping some hints on the unusual behavior exhibited by her husband. According to her husband kept on buying a lot of unnecessary stuff and storing them into the house. After taping these buckets of wheat, as well as other things her husband had earlier purchased with a lot of money, Susan begins to unveil the unbelievable part of this story. According to Susan, her husband became broke as a result of panic purchases of unnecessary things. This wasn't so much of a concern for her until he started using her credit card for these purchases, forcing her to buy things she doesn't need, all against her own will. Susan, quite unhappy, rants and complains about how stupidly her husband spent her money, but that's not all. Susan shows some evidence that her husband's attitude did not only stop with him spending both their funds, he also ran the whole family into debt. It gets to the scary part, where she mentioned that her husband is a very destructive person, especially in the moments when he's angry. Susan shows the destructive part of her husband, which later became a major clue for her missing case to be solved. This evidence showed by Susan has become the very last thing she showed the world. She was never seen again. The speculations are that Susan ran away because she couldn't cope. But the most dominant rumor about her disappearance is that something darker happened at the hands of her husband. Her husband might have found this tape and could have exhibited anger to a point he never showed before. Following Susan Powell's disappearance in December 2009, her husband, Joshua Powell, became the primary person of interest. Despite mounting suspicions, authorities lacked sufficient evidence to charge him. However, things took an even darker turn. At this point, everyone was pointing fingers at Joshua, and perhaps, out of exhaustion from the investigation, guilt, or losing the custody of his children, he made a tragic decision. On February 5th, 2012, during a supervised visit, Joshua set off a deliberate house explosion while he was inside with his two sons, ending their lives. Despite extensive searches and investigations, Susan's remains have never been found, and she is presumed dead. The case remains unsolved, leaving lingering questions about her fate. But don't think that Susan's story is the scariest, because there's more to come, and nothing will prepare you for what is set to happen in the next video. In November 2018, Kelsey Barth, a 29-year-old mother to a little girl, was last seen with her child outside her home. A surveillance footage shows Kelsey and her 1-year-old daughter at the Woodland Park supermarket. This footage is the last moment where Kelsey was seen alive. Her fiancé testified that he dropped their child off with her that morning, after which she left for the supermarket, and this implies that he was the last person that saw her before her disappearance. On the Thanksgiving morning, a neighbor's security camera captured Kelsey with a baby carrier, standing at the door with her ex, Patrick Frazee. Later that day, Patrick was seen alone at Kelsey's door, leaving behind a haunting question. What had happened to Kelsey and her baby? According to reports, her disappearance was a tragic series of events that led to her sudden demise. Her demise didn't seem like a spur of the moment. It looked more like it was planned and properly executed. Her former fiancé, Patrick Frazee, was said to have been involved in her death. A witness known as Crystal Lee was found to testify about the events that unfolded on the day that Kelsey was eliminated. This witness claimed that Frazee eliminated and buried Kelsey to cover his footprints. According to Crystal, she helped clean the bloodstains from the wall and the floor. After Kelsey's disappearance, Frazee was seen avoiding the media, running away from them, and trying to avoid answering any questions that might expose him in the long run. Things unveiled pretty fast as Crystal decided to show the police some of the major evidence involving Kelsey's case. You would think that the only thing Crystal knew about the case was just the cleaning of blood, but there's really more than meets the eye. Apparently, she knows the dark and in-depth part of this case. This time, Crystal takes the police to where Frazee was accused of burning Kelsey's belongings and where he also buried her body. The twisted side is that Crystal was allowed to be free based on immunity, although a lot of people believed that she is an accomplice and that she deserved jail time. Frazee's main reason for eliminating his ex-fiancée still remains unclear to the public, and this story continues to leave more questions than answers. If you think Kelsey's story is the most unsettling, buckle up, because the disappearance of Stephen Kocher is about to take your fear to a whole new level. On the 13th of December, 2009, a security camera captured 30-year-old Stephen Kocher arriving in a residential neighborhood where he parked his car. Some moments after, he was seen walking down the sidewalk before he vanishes without a trace. On the day of his disappearance, records show Kocher was in the Las Vegas Valley for several hours, before ultimately parking his car at the end of Savannah Springs Avenue and walking toward his destination, which is unknown. Stephen's brother, still in a state of disbelief, was confused as to why he walked away from his home and never returned. He believed that this incident could not have been planned by Stephen and that his brother must have encountered someone or something. Stephen Kocher's neighbor also speaks up about his last encounter with the missing victim. At that time, Stephen was living in Utah and was said to be owing his house rent. Aside from this, it was reported that Stephen might also be in other debt. Could Stephen have vanished due to his depressing financial state? While some believe that he absconded to avoid paying his debts in order to stay in hiding forever under the guise of a missing victim, people close to him believe that something tragic must have happened to him. The case of Stephen Kocher's sudden disappearance remains a mystery, leaving behind only whispers of speculation and suspicion, and the only evidence of him being alive is the CCTV footage captured. The disappearance of Andrew Gosden. On September 14th, 2007, Andrew Gosden woke up early in the morning and got dressed in his school uniform. He bid goodbye to his family and set off towards school. However, that was the last time his family ever seen him again.
You off now? Yes, he said. See you later. Yep. And that was the last conversation I ever had with him.
A security camera captured Andrew leaving the King Cross station after he left his home in Doncaster. Earlier that morning, he had withdrawn some money from his bank account and bought a one-way train ticket to London. But why would a young teenager take off to London alone? Was he planning to meet someone? The details are shocking. Some days before his disappearance, Andrew did something out of character. He walked home from school instead of taking the bus, which was a 4-mile journey, and he repeated this the next day. On the day he went missing, he left home telling his parents that he was leaving for school, but after a series of phone calls, they learned that he had not been in school that day, and witnesses also attest to this. The last set of media evidence of Andrew's existence were found in different CCTV footage in Doncaster, where he was looking panicked, turning his head left and right as if he's checking if he's being followed. Following his disappearance, there have been different suspicions and concerns circulating online. But this is where the investigation gets more disturbing. Andrew might have been in fact abducted. Many people who've noticed the case refer to something called the burner phone theory. Since Andrew was not active on social media, It's plausible that any connection he formed with this kidnapper happened in person, potentially at the university convention. On the night before his disappearance, he watched some bands perform at the 6th concert, a possible ground for meeting a shady character. The shared interest in heavy metal music could have been the foundation of this connection, making him more likely to trust the individual's intentions. Moreover, Andrew not purchasing a return ticket may suggest he was relying on someone else for transportation home, possibly someone who offered him a ride after the concert or meeting. The groomer may have insisted on Andrew traveling via train to minimize witnesses and avoid being seen picking him up. King's Cross Station, known for its heavy CCTV coverage, might have been selected to create the appearance that the groomer wasn't directly involved. It's possible the groomer directed Andrew to a less public area, either under the guise of a concert venue or a meeting spot, to avoid detection. This would also align with the idea of someone being careful not to leave a trail. The different speculations about his disappearance remain uncertain, but the Gosden family still hope they will find their child. To this day, unfortunately, no one knows what happened to Andrew. Is Andrew dead or alive? Did he just run from home? Or was he kidnapped?
I would prefer to have a bag of bones that could be identified by DNA or something and know that, because then, you know, you would have some closure to it, however painful.
But Andrew's case is nothing compared to how bizarre the last footage we have of Scientists claim that we've only explored a mere 5% of our vast oceans, leaving us to ponder about the creatures that might inhabit the remaining 95%. This video, taken on a beach, provides a glimpse into that mysterious underwater world. It showcases bizarre aquatic creatures that resemble strips of bacon, moving in a manner reminiscent of worms. These creatures, with their bacon-like appearance, take an even stranger turn in the video, as one of them expels a white web-like structure from its front, which drops onto the ground. Interestingly, this web-like structure closely resembles what ribbon worms eject from their bodies to capture prey. While it seems plausible that these creatures could be a rare species of ribbon worms, it's challenging to be certain without more information. The ocean continues to hold secrets that intrigue and baffle us. Deciding between getting a cat or a dog can be a hard choice, but after watching this video, my perspective got clearer. The footage recorded by a home security camera starts with a big bear casually walking around outside a house. Suddenly, something scares the bear, and it starts running away. It turns out the source of this sudden fear is a small but brave dog. The little dog fearlessly chases the bear, putting enough fear into the big creature that it decides to climb a tree for safety. The brave dog stands below the tree, barking loudly at the bear. As the dog explores a bit more, the bear, taking the chance, climbs down the tree and quickly runs away. This video really shows the amazing bravery of dogs, proving that even when they're small compared to the danger, they can be incredibly courageous. It's proof of the protective instincts and fearlessness that dogs bring into our lives. Being stared at or feeling someone lurking can be an eerie and unsettling experience on its own. But when you're unsure whether the thing staring at you is real or not, it adds an extra layer of fear. In this video, an explorer makes a creepy discovery while hiking in the mountains. They come across a small opening, and inside, they find a face constructed from stones, seemingly staring back at them. What makes it even creepier is that the face appears to be smiling, and there is a whole dark vibe about that smile. Also, there's a strange transformation noted by some viewers. At the beginning of the video, the face might not have been smiling, but as the camera zooms in, it seems to smile directly at the camera. This experience is truly chilling, especially considering it's in a remote mountain area where it's unlikely someone created the face for tourist purposes. Trail cameras and Bigfoot sightings often go hand in hand, leaving us wondering whether these legendary creatures truly exist. In this trail cam footage, we can see a dark black figure lurking behind a tree, attempting to remain hidden from the trail camera's view. However, after some time, it approaches a bit close to the camera, allowing us to discern some of its features. The creature appears to be covered in a thick coat of black hair, and its overall shape resembles that of a classic Bigfoot. Moreover, since we can only see its upper body frame, it's evident that the creature is quite wide and towering in stature. So, what do you think this creature was? Was it merely a buffed-up gorilla or a genuine sighting of the mighty Bigfoot? While hiking in the forest, it's essential to be aware of potential animal predators to ensure your safety. However, what about trees? Can they host such things? In this video, captured by a hiker on a forest trail in Canada, we can see a figure that resembles a human standing on top of a tree in the distance. This figure appears to maintain its balance effortlessly, without the need for hand support. It moves around, and it has human-like features, including skinny arms, a head that resembles a human shape, and long hair. People who have viewed this video have suggested that it might be an experienced tree climber, possibly a local forest resident. Nevertheless, the ease with which this figure stands on the tree is both unsettling and remarkable. It raises questions about the potential presence of skilled climbers in the forest canopy and adds an intriguing layer of mystery to the wilderness. This video was posted on Facebook by a user named Aristo, who was convinced that he had captured Bigfoot on his camera. The video starts with the cameraman running and breathing heavily, as if he had spotted something in the woods and was either trying to capture it on camera or possibly even running from it. After a moment, the cameraman stops and focuses his camera on the distance, revealing a massive dark black creature that resembles an ape making its way through the bushes. This confirms that the cameraman was indeed chasing after this creature. As the cameraman moves a bit closer, he captures another glimpse of this creature, and this time we see it standing upright. Its posture is unlike that of a gorilla, more reminiscent of a human. It's also quite tall and has long arms. Nevertheless, I want to believe that it was indeed an ape or a gorilla. Otherwise, my fear whispers that it must be Bigfoot. This video takes us to the Philippines, where locals are gathered around a creature perched on a store roof during the night. As one of the locals shines a flashlight on the cryptid, we get a glimpse of its truly terrifying features. The creature has a human-like body and facial features, but the way it is hunched on the roof is incredibly eerie and sends shivers down one's spine. This menacing creature appears to be possibly lurking for something. What's particularly strange is that in the street beside the store, people are casually walking by as if they are unaware of the lurking cryptid's presence. Additionally, towards the end of the video, the locals recording it seem to be laughing. The laughter could be interpreted in different ways. It might suggest that this encounter is fake or a prank staged by them. This brief video has been circulating on the internet, featuring a homeowner capturing a terrifying sight on their home camera. In the video, we observe a tricycle in a hallway, moving seemingly on its own. What makes it eerie is the slow and deliberate pace at which the tricycle's pedals move. The tricycle continues in the same direction at the same pace until it finally tips over. Also, the hall appears to be empty, with no one present. While tricycles can move on their own under certain conditions, such as a sloped angle floor or wind. In this case, it was on a level floor in a closed building with no apparent air circulation. This leaves us with the mystery of whether this was just a random occurrence, or if there might be a paranormal explanation, such as a child ghost riding the tricycle. The video raises intriguing questions and adds an element of the unexplained to the situation. Driving on a desolate nighttime road can be an invitation for a creepy encounter, and this family experienced just that. In this video, we witness a desolate road with the car's headlights illuminating a terrifying cryptid figure hunched over on the road. The figure's creepy and horrifying body shape is visible, with long, skinny arms, a humanoid body that appears to be bent backward, and long hair. This terrifying cryptid stands motionless right in the middle of the road. The family in the car had a dangerous encounter on their hands, as the cryptid was blocking their path. Trying to pass it from the side could have resulted in an attack. However, rather than quickly driving away from this ominous presence, the family inexplicably remained in their car, recording the scary cryptid. Dogs do all kinds of strange things that we humans don't quite understand, including their ability to sense things we may not see or explain. This video comes from India, where we witness a dog entering a home's gallery. The dog then approaches what appears to be a mat or a hanging piece of metal mesh and curiously hits it with its paw. And as it does so, the dog becomes frightened by a transparent smoky figure that seems to emerge from it. While it's unlikely that this figure is a ghost or anything supernatural, it's possible that the dog's pawing at the mat stirred up some dust or particles, creating the illusion of a smoky form. What's intriguing, however, is the significant amount of dust that seems to emerge from the mat with just a light paw tap, making it a bit unusual.
Watch who's stalking who now. Who's stalking who now? Look at that. You see a person? Yeah, who's stalking who now?
This man was in the famous Dudley Town when he noticed that figure stalking him through the woods. If you haven't heard of this place, it's a tiny abandoned village in the woods of Cornwall, Connecticut. At first glance, Dudley Town just seems like an old, forgotten settlement, but people believe this place is seriously cursed. And not just bad luck. We're talking a full-on, generations-old curse that supposedly ruined everyone who lived there.
No! What is that? No way.
If you didn't get it, there was a black shadow that walked past the deep, dark woods. The fact that it was pitch dark in there, even though it was broad daylight, is already scary enough. And then there was the shadow too. So how did the whole town get cursed? Well, the legend starts with the Dudley family, who settled there in the early 1700s. The story goes that their ancestors were involved in some shady stuff back in England, like betraying the king. As punishment, a curse was put on the Dudley bloodline. And when the Dudleys came to America and settled in what would become Dudley Town, that curse followed them. Almost everyone who lived in Dudley Town seemed to experience some kind of tragedy. People went insane, disappeared, or died mysteriously. Even though the land looked good for farming, crops would fail for no reason. It's like nothing good could last there. Some say the town's isolation in the dense forest added to the madness, like the woods themselves were closing in on people. And every time someone tried to visit, they were seeing weird things. It was so scary that the town has been literally named the Gateway to Hell. There was also a time when a man named Mike was walking through the woods when he noticed something was off. As he recorded the weird thing, this is what he saw.
Watch who's stalking who now. Who's stalking who now? Look at that. You see a person? Yeah, who's stalking who now?
Even though it looked like just a regular man, what was he doing there? Just keeping an eye on Mike when there were no other people in Mike's radius. And it's not just this. Many viewers also told their own stories. One said, "I saw some people walking through the woods in old-fashioned clothes, and when I blinked they were gone." And then there's the thing that it's illegal to visit Dudley Town now. The land is privately owned, and the owners are strict about keeping people out. They say it's to protect the area, but you have to wonder, are they protecting the land, or are they protecting people from the curse? In the heart of Huntsville, Alabama, nestled within the city's largest and oldest cemetery, Maple Hill, lies a playground. Known as the Dead Children's Playground, this place is shrouded in eerie tales and chilling legends that have intrigued and terrified locals and visitors for decades.
I was standing here and this just started. Oh my gosh.
However, the major story isn't about one single place, but rather a bunch of eerie legends about ghostly kids who haunt different parts of Alabama. And these aren't happy, playful ghost children. These stories are dark. So, how did this innocent place get its gruesome name? This urban legend is about how many children lost their lives in Huntsville during the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918. Most of them were buried in Maple Hill, alongside a playground. As the legend states, the spirits of those children come out to play at night. The children are most active from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. The playground is surrounded by a group of trees, which can give off a shadowed appearance. There is a swing set and a regular-looking playground. People have been going there to see if they can find any paranormal activity, and sometimes they have really scary experiences. In fact, many visitors have reported strange occurrences during their late-night visits. Some claim to have heard faint giggling or the sound of footsteps when no one was around. Others have seen swings moving by themselves even when the wind was calm, or noticed cold spots in the air that seemed to appear out of nowhere. Like the time a group of friends went to investigate, and later into the night, this happened.
What is he looking at? Was it up by the bench? No.
Then in 2017, a man went there with his daughter. As he pushed the swings gently to take a picture, they kept going as if something with weight was in them. Some witnesses have also said they felt a sense of being watched or heard whispering voices, even though no one else was around. So, why are there so many stories of ghostly children in Alabama? Some say it's because these legends are a way of remembering tragic events that affected communities. These stories have a way of sticking with you. This legend pops up in a few places, but one of the most famous versions is in Cassadaga, Florida. Now, if you haven't heard of Cassadaga, it's basically the self-proclaimed psychic capital of the world. This place is full of mediums, spiritualists, and, of course, creepy stories. And, at the edge of town, in the Lake Helen Cassadaga Cemetery, sits the infamous Devil's Chair. According to the legends, the chair was created by a few worshippers for Satan himself. It is said that every midnight, the devil will ascend from hell to sit on it. According to legend, if you sit in this chair, you might end up having a little one-on-one with Satan himself. Yeah, not exactly the kind of meeting you want to schedule. The story goes that if you sit in the chair at midnight, the devil will whisper in your ear. Some versions of the legend say he'll make you a deal or curse you forever.
Looking for?
What are you looking for?
Help.
Do you need help? Is there any way we could help you right now? Maybe get your voice out?
Sin.
I don't like this, bro. I really don't like this.
I kept saying stuff. Trapped!
Trapped!
It's a trap!
However, experts say that the legend is nothing more than that, a legend. Bauer explained that during the 19th century, stone seating areas were often added to cemetery plots. These mourning chairs gave loved ones a place to sit while paying respects to the departed. But let's be real. Legends like this don't just pop up out of nowhere. Even with the logical explanation of these mourning chairs, the eerie atmosphere of Lake Helen Cassadaga Cemetery keeps the legend alive. Paranormal investigators have visited the site and reported strange phenomena: unexplained cold spots, flickering lights, and orbs of energy caught on camera.
You see that? Holy shit. It's spiking up. There's something here.
Then, there were others who went at night in groups, trying to see if they could find anything. And luckily, they did.
The f was that? What?
And if this didn't scream scary enough, literal screams were also heard. Faint noises, the feeling of someone watching, like someone's moving around, can be heard. So as much as people say it's just a legend, these clips say otherwise. Even people who've sat in the chair describe feeling overwhelmed by dread or getting a weird chill. Even on a hot night, they say they heard the devil whispering in their ears. Adding to the eeriness, some visitors claim to have seen shadowy figures lurking near the chair after dark. These figures are often described as tall, with glowing eyes or a sense of malevolence. This ties back to the idea that the devil himself, or something demonic, might really be connected to the chair. Horror doesn't always lie in silent cemeteries and deserted roads. Sometimes, it's hanging right in front of us when we visit a funhouse. This is exactly how this urban legend goes. But here's the thing. This is no longer an urban legend. It's a very twisted tale of what happened to Elmer J. McCurdy.
Elmer McCurdy was a bank robber, train robber in the early 1900s. He gets killed.
It sounds like a normal story, right? But this is where the twist comes. After the autopsy, the man who performed it waited for his payment, but to his surprise, no one came to give him any money or claim the body. So, he dried Elmer out and put him in the back room.
The guy that had done the autopsy, his name's Johnson, he waits for payment from the county or from anybody.
Then, some men arrived, claiming to be Elmer's brothers, but they didn't take him to a family plot. Instead, they hung his body in a funhouse as a fake prop. His last stop was the Long Beach Pike amusement park in California. There, Elmer hung in a funhouse, covered in phosphorescent paint, while kids unknowingly played around his corpse.
I spent a good part of my time down in the Pike and on the beach. And for a kid, this was really great.
Then came December 1976 and fate's final reveal. A film crew shooting The $6 Million Man needed a creepy funhouse scene. Everything seemed normal, until one of the crew members accidentally broke off Elmer's arm. Instead of the sawdust or wires they expected, human bones fell out. Elmer's body was finally identified, ending a 65-year nightmare of exploitation. In 1977, he was given a proper burial in Summit View Cemetery, Oklahoma. To ensure his peace, 2 feet of concrete were poured over his coffin, a final safeguard against further desecration. What began as a tragic end turned into a chilling story of neglect and greed. A bizarre legend, but one that is horrifyingly real. Call them skinwalkers or shapeshifting entities, and you'll find stories about them everywhere, from deserted roads to deep, dark woods. The lore surrounding these beings is nothing short of creepy. Skinwalkers originate from rich Native American folklore and are believed to be individuals who gained supernatural powers through committing a taboo act, which could possibly include harming a family member. For centuries, they have been said to roam the deserted areas of Arizona, especially the Navajo Nation, and their presence is associated with horror, curses, and ill omens. When people describe encounters, they frequently mention glowing eyes, strange animal-like appearances, and a creepy way of mimicking human voices, often leading to strange cries.
Time to hunt some skinwalkers, all right? Yo, you hear that?
Skinwalkers tend to appear more often in certain locations, one of which is Skinwalker Ranch in Utah, which is considered to be a hotspot for paranormal investigations. Many visit every day looking for a skinwalker, but the locals just warn them to stay away. But that's not all. There have been multiple sightings over the years. People have seen and recorded glowing eyes and strange men out there. In 2014, a picture was uploaded on Facebook, and it had the whole world in shock.
A Facebook picture circulating yesterday sure has a lot of people up there worried.
The story behind the picture was that a geologist was working in an oil field when he felt something odd, and this was the picture he took. Surprisingly enough, he quit the next day too.
There are stories of countless encounters in New Mexico, but few will speak of them, too scared.
And then adding to all this creepiness, many people started finding their posts and comments which they just shared started disappearing from Facebook. No one knew what was going on. And the tales of skinwalkers haunting people aren't just a part of a specific territory. In fact, they spread globally, haunting everyone alike. Like when, a couple of years later, a Reddit user was camping in the Vimperk forest and heard this. The screams were so loud that it was surrounding the whole forest, and it clearly did not sound like a human screaming at all. The uploader thought it was either a skinwalker. However, they did not have the courage to go and check the direction the scream was coming from. There were a few things in common. Everyone who ever saw a skinwalker said they felt these feelings of dread, a sudden temperature drop, and there were creepy noises everywhere. The feeling continued for months afterward. Some stories say that skinwalkers can curse people if they lock eyes with them, resulting in bad luck, illness, and sometimes even worse. So, as much as someone might argue that skinwalkers can be explained by optical illusions or animals in the dark, the screams, the cries, and the sightings just say otherwise. There appears to be a big chance that these skinwalkers might be roaming the deserted roads, waiting for the perfect moment to appear and attack. According to legend, Mothman is a black, 10-foot creature with wings and red eyes. They are mostly spotted around West Virginia, where in the 1960s, this legend made the lives of people hell. They were scared to go out at night. As for the beginning of this legend, it goes something like this. The year was 1966. Two gravediggers in Clendenin, West Virginia, saw a black figure fly over their heads while digging a grave in a cemetery. They didn't know it then, but they are credited with being the first people to see the famous Mothman. The monster was also commonly seen in the TNT area near town, with some locals speculating that perhaps people were really seeing cranes or owls, and others wondering if the creature was created in some sort of mutation, accident involving the chemicals associated with storing TNT. Regardless, legend has it that mysterious men in black suits began visiting the town shortly after the sighting reports. Since then, however, the TNT area, which is a former munitions site from World War II, has been called the Mothman's House.
It's the setting, really it is. It's the setting, the perfect setting for a strange sighting. Hey, there's something weird out there at that old dump site. I mean, it's perfect.
The sightings are numerous. For instance, when a YouTuber named Jerbear was investigating an abandoned Mothman bunker at West Point, as he parked his car and came out with his friend, he started to hear weird sounds. They checked the surroundings again, just to be sure, and then entered the bunker, which was full of nothing but graffiti everywhere, meaning they were not the first people to enter the bunker. Inside, everything seemed usual. However, just a few minutes later, they could hear something that sounded like heavy breathing.
Did you hear that? Was that heavy breathing?
Since it wasn't completely heard on camera, and the fact that voices were echoing around a lot, no one could tell what it was. However, one of the viewers claimed that it could be probably the Mothman. Another compelling sighting was when a man who says he was driving along State Route 2 saw something jump from tree to tree. He pulled off the road and snapped some pictures.
These pictures, supposedly taken by a man who says he was driving along State Highway 2 in Point Pleasant, saw something jump from tree to tree.
The man declined an on-camera interview, but was adamant the pictures had not been doctored. He said he recently moved to Point Pleasant for work and didn't even know about the legend. The town of Point Pleasant hosts an annual Mothman festival and features a Mothman statue to commemorate the legend. Despite its spooky origins, the creature has become a symbol of local pride and mystery. Paranormal enthusiasts and cryptid hunters continue to explore the woods and abandoned sites near Point Pleasant, hoping to capture evidence of the Mothman. Whether the creature is real or just a case of mass hysteria, the legend persists, fueling speculation and sparking curiosity about what really happened on those eerie winter nights of the 1960s.
This video will shock you. Taken from the surveillance camera of a supermarket during the quiet hours of the night, this footage presents a puzzling and unsettling sight. It shows a shopping cart eerily moving on its own, navigating the supermarket aisles with no one in sight to guide it. Intriguingly, the cart even takes a turn, moving from one aisle to another, suggesting that the movement couldn't easily be dismissed as the work of the wind or a simple tilt in the floor. The absence of any visible person or force behind the cart's movement raises questions and speculation. Could this be the work of a ghost? The idea might seem far-fetched, but the peculiar and deliberate movements of the shopping cart, captured in the stillness of the night, makes me think of something supernatural.
If you want to see more chilling encounters and unexplained mysteries, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. For more strange and interesting footage, check this out.